What? Want to come up here? You want to say hi to the camera? Huh? Want to be in a YouTube video? What's going on YouTube? It is Luke Waters back again with another YouTube video, and today we're going to talk about the origin story of my Caprice and why I actually decided to buy a Caprice Ppv. So obviously the Caprice Ppv is not a very popular car, not too many people know what it is, and neither did I back in 2017. So how did I actually find out about the Caprices? Well, it's kind of a funny story. I believe back in around 2012, 2013, my brother had purchased a Pontiac G8. And the G8 is basically a rear-wheel drive four-door sedan that Pontiac made for 2 years, from 2000 to 2009. It came with the option of a 3.6 liter V6 or a 6 liter V8. And I love that car. Funny because a lot of people who know me back in my 30-100 days when I used to race Buick Regal GSs, I used to hate the G8 because everybody had them. And let's be honest, I was just jealous. I really wanted one. They were just way too expensive for a kid that worked at Sears Auto Center for the time. I don't want to play. I gotta make a video. Anyways, back about the G8. And I love that car. I think it was just full bolt on when you brought it up to Fort Wayne, and then he threw a Rick Crawford cam in it, and the car was actually pretty fast for just a KM G8. It beat a lot of cars in town. And around 2016 and 2017, I realized that it was time for me to get a four-door sedan with an LS in it. Now, in 2014, another Holden car came to the United States, that being the Chevy SS. And still being a broke kid that worked construction, I could not afford that. So I was online kind of looking at cars, and I came across something that looked like a Chevy Impala, but they called it a Caprice. I was like, what the heck is that? So I did a little bit of research, and I'm kind of looking at Caprices and stuff, and I remember a funny story actually. I remember back in 2013 as well, me and my brother went to this place called Gander Mountain, which was like an outdoor store near our house. And I remember us walking through the parking lot, and we actually saw a Caprice there. And I didn't know what it was at the time. My brother knew what they were, but I had no idea what it was, and who would have thought out 3 years, 4 years later, I'd be looking for one to buy. And I happened to find this guy in a dealership in Chicago called Chicago Motors. If you guys are interested in looking at Caprices or maybe purchasing one, I'll link that dealership in the description below. They were very quick about getting this car to me, and I have no regrets working with them. They were great to work with. So in 2017, I figured it was finally time to move on from the 3800 platform and start working on LS cars. Now, this was not a good platform to start out with LSs. I'm just gonna tell you guys that right off the bat. This car is not gonna break records. You're probably gonna lose a lot of races. And let's be honest, from factory, especially now in today's standards, it's not the fastest thing on the road. But it was two things that was very important to me at the time. It was cheap and it was LS powered. And it was a four-door sedan, which was actually a bonus. I am a big fan of the four-door sedan cars. I'm not really too big on coupe cars. I'm 6'3", I'm pretty tall. So anything I can squeeze my big tall butt into and be comfortable, I'm obviously going to go with that. So I bought the car, and the first thing I did was a cold air intake. My buddy Adam had one from his G8 that he was gonna get rid of, and he pretty much gave it to me. I think I gave him like 30 bucks for it, and it was a bad intake. It did go to the fender well to get some cold air, but other than that, it was really janky. It had like corrugated pipe. I'll throw a picture of it up in here somewhere. But going into it, I learned that the LSs and 3800s actually kind of coexist in a way. There's actually a decent amount of 3800 parts on this that correlate from the supercharged 3800 with the LSA swap and everything else like that. Like there's a lot of 3800 sensors for the LSA swap, which was actually really funny and kind of worked out good because I had some sensors laying around. So it was funny, I can remember the first summer I bought this thing, it used to have the cop light on it and the brush guard, both of which I have removed. The light rusted out and shorted, which kind of sucked. I really like having a spotlight. I might throw another one back on, but it's kind of a pain in the butt to install on a wire, so we'll see what goes on with that. In the brush guard, the mounts were starting to rust out, so I just cut it off, and I think it looks a lot better without it. I need to fill in these bumper holes right here. And I remember when I started finding out about these cars and doing some more research, there wasn't a whole lot of information out there on the internet about these things, but now all of a sudden they're starting to pop up more, it's becoming more common, and you see them out a lot more. I think in Fort Wayne where I'm at, I think there's like 2 now. There was 3, one guy sold his, and then my buddy Mike, luckily we convinced him to keep it, so I don't want to be a lonely Caprice owner. And that was another thing that really attracted me to this car, was there wasn't very many of them. So when you go to a car meet, what do you normally typically see? You see Camaros, Mustangs, 350Zs, and Altimas, and pretty much anything in between. But you don't see these. You never see them out. It was cool, it was niche at the time. And to be able to pull up to a car meet and people be like, well, what the heck is that? You know, these cars actually have a good sleeper effect. The only thing I wish I did with this car was go with a smaller cam and keep a quieter exhaust so that way I can make it more sleepy. I might be doing that, so stay tuned. Might be making this into a sleeper build, hide the heat exchanger, and just make it a menace to society. And it's funny because growing up, my dad was actually a big Ford guy. So for me, like growing up around Fords, and like he has a 66 Galaxy, so me growing up around the Ford, going to Chevy, I think I blame my brother a lot for being a Chevy guy because I don't know, something about Chevys I just gravitated towards. And like I said, with the 3800s, those were my first platforms I actually like modified and like built. And then it just went on to one of these things. And I tell you what, I have no regrets buying this car. This car has been an absolute unit. It's been super reliable to me. Nothing has really broken on it. The only thing, okay, so well, two things broke, but the diff was my fault because it was already kind of going out. The car had 120,000 miles on it. It was clunking already. I never changed the gear oil, and one send against the Camaro destroyed it. And the fuel pump went out, the stock fuel pump did. I kind of ran it empty a few times. I think I sucked up too much dirt. I think I just overheated the pump. Happens, you know, that was my fault. That's nothing wrong with the car. The drivetrain's been solid, the engine's been solid, the transmission's been perfect. So more than likely, if you clicked on this video, you're probably thinking about buying a Caprice, and honestly, do it. If this is a car you want to get into, drive, make it be reliable. It's not the most comfortable car. It doesn't have navigation or anything like that. So, you know, go into that with that. They're pretty bare bones when it comes to the interiors, but I love it. I mean, this is probably my favorite car I've ever owned, and I'm gonna keep this thing. I'll probably never get rid of this car. This thing's just been it's been fun. It's reliable. I can take it anywhere I want, and it's supercharged. What more could you ask for? So that's gonna be the video for today. If you guys enjoyed it, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have any more questions about the Caprice, feel free to leave them down in the comment sections down below. I like answering questions and seeing you guys, reading your guys' comments. As always, it's been Luke Waters, and I'll see you guys in the next video.